Welcome to the Master Info Week of the Università della Svizzera Italiana. For the whole week, you will find useful resources such as a welcome from our rector, Professor Boas Erez, a campus tour, testimonials from both current students and alumni, and an overview of USI's graduate placement opportunities. You can watch a brief description of our student services and a useful tutorial on how to fill the online application form. Now, you're about to attend a thorough presentation of the master structure and contents. You can ask us any question, academic or administrative related, through the chat below this video or through the form at the bottom of the page. After the presentation, we will answer all your questions during a live session with the director of the program. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome everybody to this presentation of the Master in Finance program at USI. To begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Alberto Platt. I am the Scientific Director of the Master's Program. I am Associate Professor of Finance at USI, where I joined in 2010 with a PhD in Finance from the Anderson School of Management. So this is the structure of our presentation. We'll first look into objective and contents, then about structure and organization of the Master, career prospects, and finally admission requirements and application deadline. To begin, I'd like to discuss with you why we should study finance. Well, financial decisions are everywhere, and they touch each player in the economy. For example, households. Household needs to decide whether they should buy or rent a house, how much to consume and how much to save, if they save, where they should invest and how, and finally they need to plan for their retirement age. On the other hand, corporations need also to take very important financial decisions, such as how much to invest into research and development, how much dividends to issue, how they should collect, how they should raise capital and how much, and finally whether to acquire or not another firm, perhaps a competing firm. Financial markets are there to allow taking all these decisions in the best possible way. Therefore, we need a clear understanding of how financial markets work. Now, from a topic point of view, what I find fascinating of finance is its multidisciplinary aspect, meaning that along with the standard topics such as, very closely related topics such as those coming from economics and statistics and econometrics, which naturally fit into a finance curriculum, what I find fascinating is that there is an increasing role for topics, concepts, and tools that are coming from other disciplines, such as, for example, informatics, if you think about the importance of programming, engineering and physics, which play a key role in, for example, derivative pricing, and finally history and psychology, if you think, for example, about behavioral finance. Now that we talked about studying finance in general, let me be more specific and why I think it's a wise idea to study finance at USI. USI Master in Finance is designed to equip you with state-of-the-art tools and concepts to start a successful career path in all fields of finance. And in order to take advantage of the wide array of opportunities in the financial sector, we organize the Master into a 3-track structure that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. The Master features a mix between academic faculty and industry leaders that teach in the various courses. It features strong ties with the industry thanks to the involvement of USI and the Institute of Finance in lots of initiatives and links with the local, the Swiss, and the international financial sector. This is also eased by the fact that Lugano is an important financial center. And last but not least, Lugano lifestyle is quite enjoyable, so it's a nice place where to spend 2 years studying finance. So let me now talk about the structure and organization. So a few facts about the Master in Finance program. The Master is currently in its 13th edition. It features about 50 courses being offered in the various tracks and between core and elective courses. There are about 35 faculty that are teaching and some 450 plus graduates since inception, which makes it a lively and quite useful alumni network to draw from. As a recognition of the quality of the Master is in the top 40, and in particular is ranked 38th by the Financial Times in its worldwide ranking of Masters in Finance pre-experience program in the last available edition of 2018. So going now into the specifics of the Master. The Master program is organized into 3 minors or tracks. The first track is the Quantitative Finance track. It equips participants with the quantitative tools for analysis and pricing. Now, the second track is Banking and Finance. In this track, students are confronted with concepts that pertain commercial and investment banking, wealth management, corporate governance, so aspects that pertain the working of financial intermediaries. And finally, the Digital Finance track is embracing all those areas that pertain to fintech and all IT tools with always a focus on financial aspects. So the idea is to equip students with informatic tools, but always with the focus being the financial need that is being solved with the use of IT tools. So the idea of the Master is sort of to adapt our offering to recent trends and development in the financial industry and then embrace a wide range of such opportunities. From the point of view of the study plan, which we're going to turn in one slide, the first semester is common across all minors. So the idea is to create a common background, common layer of tools and concepts. At the end of the first semester, students can select the minor of their wish, in which they see themselves better into the future. And the Master is then organized in 3/4 semesters. In the third semester, there is a mix between compulsory and elective courses. So participants have the opportunity to customize their curricula. The master degree can be earned at the end of the third semester. Students can also opt to prolong until the fourth semester with either a master's thesis or alternatively an internship. Let me now go into the study plan. So this is the study plan for the first year. As you can see, the first semester is common across all 3 tracks, the quantitative, the banking, and the digital. We have some more quantitative courses like statistics and financial econometrics. We have already in the first semester a course on programming in finance, so the idea is already to get everybody on board with programming. And finally, we have some more standard courses, I may call it, like financial accounting, corporate finance, and investments. So basically, already the first semester reflects the 3 areas of the master. Then starting with the second semester, there is a differentiation of the courses within each track. So if you opt for the quantitative finance track, you're more into, for example, arbitrage pricing and risk management. If you're more into the banking and finance, you see courses like financial intermediation, corporate banking, or banking strategies and wealth management. If you instead opt for the digital finance track, then you're confronted with courses like blockchain and digital currencies and machine learning. This is the study plan for the second year of the program. In the third semester, we have a set of core courses for a total of 15 credits, and the remaining 15 credits can be chosen among the electives. Now, one thing that I want to highlight among the electives is also the presence of a field project where students work in team together with a company on a topic that the company finds worthwhile investigating under the guidance of a faculty. Okay, so basically it's a joint effort that is finally sort of that is initially discussed and then finally presented in front of the company and allows students to get in touch with the industry landscape. So this is the third semester, the second year, the third semester, and the fourth semester optional features either a master thesis or an internship. So in terms of career prospects and opportunities, clearly a degree in finance opens sort of a wide range of opportunities, be it in financial intermediaries such as banks, mutual funds, so the asset management company being made of mutual funds, hedge fund and money managers in general, fiduciaries and family offices, or other opportunities can be found in regulatory bodies such as central banks, surveillance authorities, and finally, students can also opt to continue their education through a PhD or a certificate of advanced studies, both of which are also offered here at USI. Career prospects that pertain in particular to the Master in Finance at USI are linked also to the fact that the Institute of Finance, which is formally in charge of the educational offering, is part of the Swiss Finance Institute. The Swiss Finance Institute is a common initiative that puts together the Swiss finance industry, leading Swiss universities, and the Swiss Confederation. The mandate of the Swiss Finance Institute is to pursue excellence in both research and doctoral training, knowledge transfer, and continued education in the fields of banking and finance. So the Swiss Finance Institute has established itself as a worldwide leader in the academic community and also in the financial sector. All the faculty members of the Institute of Finance are part of the Swiss Finance Institute, and for this reason the Master of Finance is accredited by the Swiss Finance Institute. It means that upon graduation you obtain a Swiss Finance Institute accreditation of your degree, and this enhances also the job opportunities, especially in Switzerland, but also worldwide. It's a certification of the quality of the teaching in the master. We also enjoy a dedicated career service, USI Career Service, which offers career events, company meetings, job banks, and other add-ons that enhance the placement of our graduates. And as a proof of this success, we have very successful placement records, about 94% of placement to date, and 86% of our graduates find a job between 0 to 3 months since graduation. So in terms of admission requirements, the application to the master program are now open. The requirements for application are a bachelor degree granted by a recognized university in economics, but also related disciplines. The applicants are encouraged, and this is compulsory for applicants with a bachelor obtained from non-EU or non-EFTA countries, to provide the GRE or GMAT scores in support of their application. As a general USI policy, there is an English requirement of B2 to access the master, which is waived if the bachelor degree is taught in English or if you are a native English speaker. In terms of application deadline, next application deadlines are the 31st of May for those applicants who need a visa, or 31st of August for the others. In particular, I want to point out that the 31st of July is the deadline for several USI scholarships, so early applicants are encouraged. So if you want to stay in touch with us, this is a snapshot of the Master in Finance website that you find at USI website. We also have a LinkedIn page that I invite you to join, where you can keep up with what's going on with the Master. In the Master program, you find all information, more detailed information pertaining sort of a few facts of like class profile, the structure, and career prospects. So if you have further questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with us, and I hope I see you in class in September.
Welcome back. Now we are live. You saw the presentation of the Master in Finance from the director of the program, Professor Alberto Platt, who is today now with us.
Hello everyone. Hi Rosario.
Hi Alberto. So you have much more information, much more details on the program. We are getting your questions. Please keep sending them. We are going to answer all the doubts you have. You have two methods to send in questions. The live chat you see below the video you're watching now, and this chat is linked to this live session, so it will expire when we finish. While at the bottom of the page you can find a form, a web form. That form will stay on for the coming weeks. You can keep sending in your questions through that, and we will answer ASAP. Okay, so let's dive into the questions. The first one is from Fabio, and are the difficulties of classes growing throughout the semester, Professor?
Okay, yeah, thanks for the question. So, well, the idea of the program, again, is not of an increasing difficulty. It's like an increasing scope, rather, of the courses, right? So the first semester is made up of, like, the scope is to create a common layer, a common background, common set of skills and foundation in the three areas that are spanned by the master. So like quantitative tools, like standard finance theory, and also some programming tools. And as we move into the program, we move into kind of more advanced topics. And also, let me say one thing that you know, as we move further into the second and then the third semester of classes, you know, rather than an increase in difficulty, there is an increase in you know, in the diversity of skills that are acquired, and also by the sort of teaching or learning experience, meaning that you know, in addition to, you know, standard textbook experience where you get you know, all the concepts out of a textbook, there is an increasing role for other means, such as, you know, group work, presentation, case studies, presentation by professionals, presentation by the students, like simulations, for example, business plans. So there is like more of a diversity, which also is a reflection of the fact that as we move more into advanced topics, they are closer to the industry experience. So basically, after you learned, you know, from courses that can find a parallel with textbook, you go more into topics that do not have more a one-to-one relation with, say, a standard textbook, but more into additional learning experiences, which are the value added, I would say, of going further in the program.
Okay, perfect. So hands-on after learning the concepts, right?
Yeah. So the idea is that again, you acquire some skills which are much more, I could say, you know, practical in nature, or say more closer to what you're gonna do in your professional life. So once you finish your third semester, you know, you have already a set of tools that you could apply the day after in your working environment.
Perfect. Second question is from Valentina, who sent in other questions, but let's go chronologically. What's the minimum GMAT score required, if there is one, Professor?
Okay, so for the application, we require the GMAT or GRE just for non-EU or EFTA students. The idea is that you know, there are some universities that you know, we cannot appreciate fully what is you know, the the quality, or say the contents of the preparation. So we want to beef up, the curriculum of the candidate. But all in all, there is not a minimum GMAT threshold. So we may have some target levels, but we do not, again, we do not make publicity of it, because we want to evaluate the full packet of the candidate. Okay, so the fit with the master. So we evaluate the full application, the transcripts. If there is the GMAT, if it's not required and it's not provided, we still, the applicant can still be admitted. Okay, so we do not have a threshold that sets in and out.
Okay, perfectly clear. Marta is asking, as she's already a USI student, third year of the Bachelor in Economics, and she already took the corporate finance course this year. And she's asking if she must take it again, because it's one of the mandatory classes of this program, or if she can replace it with another course. Professor?
Yeah, there is this thing that, a course, the corporate finance course is offered jointly. So by USI regulation, you cannot retake the same course again. So we require bachelor students to take the advanced corporate finance class. The idea being that, from a logistic point of view, we may the advanced course is offered in the fall, which is the same semester, and the schedule, we made it compatible with the one of first year. And the idea is that if you already mastered the corporate finance course in your previous experience in the bachelor, you're fully equipped with the foundation to take the advanced corporate finance class course, unlike, for example, other electives. So it seems like the natural course that would replace the content.
Right, next one, because questions are coming in fast. Valentina again, she's asking another question. What's the advantage of the SFI certificate, and what's the relationship between USI and this Swiss Finance Institute?
Okay, great question. So, as I outlined in my presentation, the SFI is a common initiative in the form of a foundation that puts together three players or group of players: universities, the confederation, and the financial industry, and in particular banks. Okay, so the idea is, to promote excellence in research, which then, of course, spills over through excellence in teaching, in the area of banking and finance. Okay, so the university, USI, is a part of this initiative. Okay, assigned a contract which formalizes this partnership. Okay, and the Institute of Finance, of which I am part, and the other colleagues of mine who teach in the master are part of. The Institute of Finance, as I said, is through USI is affiliated to the SFI. So each of us is an SFI professor. Now, why should students care? Well, students should care because essentially the SFI certification implies that a significant portion of the faculty who teaches in the master is part of SFI. Okay. Now, when our students and therefore this is why the master is accredited by SFI. So it's recognized as an SFI as a program that meets SFI criteria. Okay, which is a natural outcome of the fact that all of us are part of SFI. Now, once our graduates apply for a position, either in Switzerland or internationally, this certification testifies that sort of the program meets certain requirements of quality, and of course, more naturally, if they apply in Switzerland and by an institution that is supporting SFI, it sort of means that they gain a degree at a program that they themselves sponsor to be excellence in teaching. So they have a comparative edge vis-a-vis others that do not meet this requirement, okay, or do not have this certification. Okay.
Yeah, perfectly clear and thorough explanation, I think. And the next one is from Cecile. The specialization is chosen right at the beginning of the courses in September. Will it possible to change it in the first semester?
So the idea is, I mean, in the application, you do not have to, not necessarily, okay, you may, but you do not have to necessarily to disclose your specialization. Remember that there are three tracks, three paths in our master: the quantitative, the banking, and the digital. Okay, you are asked to choose among them just at the beginning of September. Okay, so after the first semester. So the idea is that you have time to progress into the first semester of the program and see if you fit yourself better with data, with the models, with banking, or with programming and fintech. And once you made up your mind, you can decide sort of right before the beginning of the second semester, because starting with the second semester, we have this deep branching into the three minors. So that's the right time when we would like to know in which of the ones you fall. Okay, so
right.
It's an option, as in finance, options have value. The value is that you can wait a semester and see if business conditions or yourself you feel better into one of these three, and then you say, okay, or perhaps you started with an idea. You begin by saying, oh, I want to undertake a career in banking, but then you realize that you find yourself very much acquainted with models, and you say, oh no, I want to do the quant track, and there we go.
Cool. I will link another question from Cecile, which is the continuation of this, then go back to a previous one. She keeps asking, so I can be granted the master's degree with 90 ACTS in 3 semesters, right? Or should I get 120? What's the difference?
Yeah, so, I mean, continuing with the optionality theme, we created also optionality in the length of the master, okay, which again needs not to be disclosed or chosen at the time of the application, but rather towards the end of the second semester, and then must be confirmed during the third semester. So the idea is that formally you can receive the master degree with 90 credits. Okay, which is 3 semesters of courses, okay, of 30 credits each. However, we also, allow the possibility to continue in the fourth semester, either through an internship. So the idea is, you may want to approach the working environment already still with the status of kind of a student, okay, through an internship, or to develop a thesis. And then get like the 120 credits of 4 semester experience. So, for example, some PhD programs require 120 credits. So, for example, if you want again a research experience like a thesis and still leave more doors open, you have the possibility also to do that. Otherwise, since many of our graduates already look for and find a job in their third semester. If in the third semester you say, I had enough with 3 semesters of courses, then you can peacefully live with that. Okay. Okay.
Now Jacopo with another question is what programming languages are taught in the digital finance minor? Can you answer this?
We have a programming course already in the first semester, okay, which we call programming 1, and that's where we teach R. Okay, so the idea is that since R, it's a free language and quite, say, user friendly, we want already, and that's I think an important, decision. We already put it as a mandatory for everybody. The idea is that even if you're going to be working in banking, you're still going to, like a class in programming will still be very, very beneficial. Then, as Jacopo correctly said, of course, the digital finance path is by its nature the one in which programming is more intense. So in programming 2, you continue with R and you do a bit of Python, and then there is machine learning in which you do Python. Okay, so these are the two main languages that you are exposed to. Okay, and then I would say these cover, the great majority of the programming needs, because Python for big data is becoming a masterpiece, and R is very user friendly and has a deep community. So that's the choice that we made.
Okay. Thanks, Professor. Then the next one is from Martina. Do students have the option to accept or reject grades?
Oh, okay, so this is, not the master, but rather USI regulation.
Switzerland regulation.
Swiss regulation.
Yeah.
So even, upper level. The straight answer is no, meaning once you receive a 6 or more, so once you achieve a sufficient grade, you do not have the option to refuse. So it means that you fully acquired, you sufficiently say, or more acquired competence into that topic. So it means that you fulfilled that topic. Okay. Whereas if you I think this is USI regulation. If you get a 5 out of 10,
yes,
you have the option to accept a 5 in one course in your curriculum, but at most one. Okay.
Yes.
Again, this is for those of you, for example, who come from the Italian system.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much different, but also take into account that at USI you must complete the first semester of courses within the first 2 years, and you must acquire the master within 3 years. So the idea is to set strong incentives, to work hard, to acquire the competences, and then be ready for your professional experience.
Perfect. The next one is from Luca. How many teaching hours are provided by week? Is it sustainable to work at the side?
Well, okay, so our program is a full-time program, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The hours per week should be, each program is, each course is 4 class hours per week, multiplied times, 6, because that's for 6 ECTS and there are 30 SCTS, okay? So it should be 24 hours of teaching each week, if my count is correct. This is just classroom experience. Then there is, personal homeworks. Now, it is possible, okay, so to work on the side. Although, again, since this program is potentially concentrated in 3 semesters, is quite demanding, okay, in terms also of home study, of assignments, okay. So the other thing is that. While generally at USI, attendance is not mandatory, some courses, at the choice of the lecturer, may require mandatory attendance. And this is especially true for, as I said before, courses in the 2nd and 3rd semester. Why? Again, because many of these courses, both the teaching and also the students' evaluation is based on means which are different from I study on the book and then I take the final.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that, for example, there could be group assignments that every week the group has to stand up and to present the work. Okay.
Right.
We have, for example, it comes to my mind in the financial modeling class. We have every week that students have to make up their portfolio and to publish it and to present how they did in your performance. So all these may require class attendance because, again, this is part of the evaluation. And let me say, this is the value added that cannot be replaced by book experience, by online, by some online teaching. So that's why there is an increasing also role of the student in the 3 semesters. Okay.
Yeah. The next one.
Sorry.
Yes.
To conclude.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not formally forbidden. Okay. So we do not require you to tell us, oh, I'm not working. But it may create tensions, and also, given all the constraints in terms of finishing the degree by certain in a certain timeline, you know, you have to manage yourself very well. Okay, otherwise you run the risk of doing both of them, you know, improperly.
Okay, thanks. The next is from Saverio. Good afternoon. I'm an Italian student. I want to ask if I need visa to live there in Lugano. No, you actually don't need a visa to stay in Lugano. You, as a EU citizen, can enter the country and live here by asking a residence permit, which is a different thing than a visa. So every foreigner who comes here and live in Switzerland needs to have a residence permit, but just some nationalities need a visa on top of this. So the residence permit will be asked after you got admitted and you pay your tuition, so that it's true and it's confirmed that you will study here and you can live here because of studying reason. And it's you know, a very straightforward process, but it's a different thing than a visa. So no, you don't need a visa actually. The next one is from Angelo. What about relationship with other universities and semesters abroad?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like we made the program rather compact, as I was mentioning, meaning there are just 3 semesters of courses, and in the third semester there is a mixture of mandatory or core courses which must be taken at USI because are part of the specialization and over which we want to sort of maintain control to make sure that the specialization has a strong weight in the curriculum of the student. In addition to that, there is 15 credits which are elective courses. So USI has a relationship in the form of exchange with a wide array of institutions. So an experience abroad can only be limited to these to fulfill these 15 credits, and must be in the 4th semester because again surely not in the first year because it's all compulsory. Then the 3rd semester you have to stay here to take at least these 15 credits of mandatory courses. Then you can postpone these 15 of electives to the 4th semester and then go abroad. Okay. So there is a bit of a trade-off in that if you stay at USI, given that you're already here and you're taking these 15 credits, you may want to take advantage of the other 15 and possibly finish with a semester. Already in 3 semesters, gain your master. Okay. If instead you value a lot an abroad experience, then you can take these 15 credits of remaining elective to make the 90 in the 4th semester with an exchange experience.
Okay, so then Federico is asking complex question, which is first part is what's the advantage of doing 4 semesters instead of 3? And then the second part, it's linked to what you were saying right now, which is the semester abroad. He's asking whether compulsory classes can be done in an exchange. I think not, right?
The answer is no.
Yeah.
No, the answer is no, really, for the reason that I mentioned before.
Yes,
meaning,
exactly.
The compulsory classes, we want to maintain control over the quality and also of the content. So just to make an example, as I was mentioning before, in our financial modeling class, we offer, we make this competition which is based on portfolio evaluation and whatnot. There is possibly no equivalent elsewhere, okay? Again, since the track starts only the 2nd semester, we want to have at least 45 credits which are gained here and sort of give a footprint to the path. Okay, so the answer is no. Compulsory courses must be taken at USI because we wanted to maintain control over the curriculum. we want to see what the student has really achieved, and this can only be done with our own courses.
Yeah, and the other half of the question was what's the advantage of 3 semesters instead of 3?
Yeah, again, as I said before, the idea is we offer a flexible structure which depends on your what you want to take your future to. Okay, so in 3 semesters, you can formally receive, if you fulfill the 90 credits of the 3 semesters, you fulfill the master degree. We also give the option to prolong with an internship. Why so? Because some of you may want to, develop a first working experience, but still with the status of a student, which is or which is an internship, or perhaps they wanted to incorporate their internship experience into like the formal transcript of the university to have it like recognized as a valid internship, and that's like the 99 credits path. In alternative to that, so we have the 90, the 99, which is 90 plus the internship, and in addition there is the 120. The 120 is 3 semesters of courses plus 1 semester of thesis, supervised by one of us, one of the Finance Institute members. With the idea, why so? Well, some of you may want to get some research experience, which is what the thesis is about. Some of you may also want to prolong, for example, with a doctorate degree, and most doctorate degree require 120 credits, so that's why we are offering that possibility, and that's why we engineer also the possibility to take it into to prolong it to 120.
Okay, and you answered to the next question from Federico again already with this answer, so everything is consequential. He was asking whether the internship equated to the master thesis because the sum of the ACTS were not the same, and you answered, of course, correctly. It's not the same with the internship. You will not reach 120.
No, the internship is 9 credits. Again, this 9 is just a number that corresponds to the minimum weeks, which I think is 8, in order to qualify the internship as valid. The internship needs also a report to be delivered on, and I think now also a CV check by the career service, which is, I think, useful, again, with the idea that, the internship should be an experience that accompany you into the, your, professional life. And again, this 9 credits is to reflect the minimum number of weeks. Also, in order to be, incorporated into the transcript, it must be also that it is in a field, in an occupation that complies with the Master of Finance. Yeah. If you do it by the gardener, it's still an internship, but does not fit into your study program. Okay, so it must be, you must have acquired skills that complement, or that are pertain the degree that you're taking. In this case, finance. Perfect. Then we're approaching rapidly the end of our time, so we have still a few questions. Eleanor unfortunately missed because of a connection issue whether GMAT or GRE or GPA minimum requirements are applied for the admission. And linked to this, she wants to know how many people on average are usually part of the class. Okay, so going back to the GRE GMAT, there is not a minimum threshold. Okay, this is because we want to maintain flexibility. We want to evaluate the candidate in her or his complexities, and skills. So we do not have a target number, such as you are in and out. I remind that the GMAT or GRE is just mandatory for non-EU, non-EFTA citizens, applicants. And again, we evaluate the full CV. So we evaluate transcripts, the letter of motivation, the CV. So we do not have a reference number that qualifies a candidate as suitable or not. Okay. And now going to the second question, which is remind me
how many usually
yes,
students? Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
so our I mean we do not have so okay, classes are limited so to some capacity, which ballpark I would say to be in the order of 60. Okay. Regular class size is also a bit lower, again because the small class size is I think an important add-on of USI. Okay. You also need to consider that in the first semester all the tracks are together because there is a common set of classes, but then they are spread into the 3 minors, right. So you end up in classes that could be some 20 or 10 students, okay? And this, I think, is really a value added of the program because it allows close interaction, okay? So, for example, if you go to our LinkedIn page that I invite all of you listening to join, okay, whose link is in the master website in the right corner, okay? You will see some pictures and some posts about the current students and also with class experience. For example, you see in the class of launching fintech ventures, the 3-4 groups. So it's about like 8 people that were taking this year and the business proposals that they delivered for the class. Okay, and again, these small classes are, we believe, the right environment to to overcome some of the handicaps of the large classes that you are one among the very many students. Okay, there is a much more direct link with the lecturer and also interaction with the colleagues, okay, with the fellows in the classroom. If you go into the also in the website like under a few facts about the master, you see also the class composition. We have also quite a gender balance. We have quite a presence of female. So there you can have an idea of the typical class that enters the master.
Thanks. Last 2 questions. Again, one more from Jacopo. Do you offer any CFA certificate preparation course?
Okay, we are in the process of being qualified, of going through the CFA accreditation. We do not formally qualify for CFA yet. Okay, although again we are in the process. This being said, we have students. In particular, I know the student who was left the testimonial for today, who went through the CFA, and they told us that of course there is quite a big overlap between what is done in the program and what is required for the CFA. The reason why we do not yet qualify is that in CFA there is quite a significant weight on topics such as ethics, and we need a course that touches on these topics to kind of meet the requirement for that. But otherwise, in all other topics, you have quite a competitive gear to take the CFA certification. Okay.
And of course, all participants are thanking the professor for his thorough answer. Now the last one is from Saverio. Is there the opportunity to get a double degree during the cycle of study?
A double degree, I mean, with another university? No, we formally do not have any agreement.
No,
on that.
Exactly.
Again, the idea is that with this 3-semester structure, we made the program quite tied up, so that you have the set of relevant skills to then be already ready for the for your job search. So double degree typically is like at least 2 full years. So we have this possibility of exchange under the caveats that I clarified, but a formal double degree, no.
Okay. Thanks for the answer, and I think we are wrapping this up. I thank all of you for attending this session, but especially thank the director of the Master in Finance, Professor Plazzi, for being so really thorough and deep in his answers. Do you have some last remarks to make?
Well, I mean, as I said, if you have further questions, we have, the prospect platform at USI, where I respond directly to, I could give like some preliminary feedback to applicants. We have the master website that contains some detailed information, and I invite you all to browse. The LinkedIn page, if you have further questions, you can get in touch with Orientamento and then myself. I mean, there are lots of other initiatives throughout the master, some of which you can learn also through our LinkedIn page. We have a Bloomberg lab. Okay, we have Bloomberg offering free certifications for our students. We have lots of initiatives throughout the masters. Some of our students, again, you can learn in the LinkedIn page, participated into international competitions and ranked very high in international competitions. They were invited to the NASDAQ. Okay, actually, Paolo Montemuro, who left a testimonial in the webpage. He won this international competition and he was invited to the NASDAQ, and USI also sponsored his trip there, right? Yes. He was interviewed. You can browse in YouTube. You have his brief speech by the NASDAQ. Okay, so we have lots of initiative. We are present in the national landscape, and we are looking forward to the next exciting academic year starting in September. I also, just the last point, mentioned that we also offer a rehearsal course in math and stats in the week before classes begin, to get you, on board with, get a refreshment of a few topics, so that you can fully enjoy the beginning of classes. Yeah, so
you can start in September up and running from the scratch. Thanks a lot, Professor Plazzi. Thank again for attending this session. And for me, it's goodbye. Bye.
Bye.